Hi everyone, you're watching Teenage Critic. Alyssa and I are here at the Moonlight Rose Alpaca Farm. And we're here because I went to the farmer's market and we saw a stand where alpaca wool clothing was actually being sold. And it comes from places just like this. In fact, the stand that we saw was from this exact farm. So we're here to check out how these clothing pieces came to be because they're shearing them today. So we're gonna see exactly what their wool turns into. So how excited are you to see this, Alyssa?
I'm pretty excited because I actually live around here and there's a lot of farms and backyard things like this, so this will definitely be an interesting experience.
Yeah. Hi, it's Jamie and we're still here at the alpaca farm. So I'm about to talk to Josie, a shearer here, about what she does and alpacas themselves. So this is where you do the shearing?
This is one of the places that we come. We go all over New England, and my husband also goes all the way down to Florida and works his way back up as the weather goes in the spring. So he's already done that trip this year.
Oh, okay. So tell me a little bit about alpacas as animals.
Well, alpacas are part of the camel family. The biggest ones are the camels, and then there's the llama next down, and then the guanaco and the alpaca are about the same size. The guanaco is much wilder. It's the alpaca that has the most valuable fiber, the finest fiber, except for one littler one, which hardly ever gets out of South America. It's kind of royal and treasured and precious, and they don't let them out. And those are called the vicuñas. So there's a very, very fine, wonderful fiber, a luxurious fiber that is compared to merino wool. It's very fine.
Oh, okay. So, I've heard that alpacas are really kept like solely domestic and like there aren't any wilds. Is that true?
That's actually true because even in South America, in the Andes, they are domesticated. They have huge ranges, even bigger than what we can imagine out west in our country, but they are managed by the people, and they have been bred by the people, selectively bred to continue to increase the production of that fiber.
So, is it called wool, the fiber?
No, we call it fiber. Wool is the
Okay.
fiber from a sheep, and some other names are angora from the bunnies, and the angora goats, and mohair from the goats. So there are different names for it, so it's alpaca fiber.
All right, so what kind of things do you make out of alpaca fiber?
Oh, all kinds of things. We usually separate. You'll see when we shear that we separate it into three basic categories. We take off the blanket first, which would be the shape of what would be like if you laid a flat blanket over the back of the animal, and that's the finest fiber on an alpaca. And then the neck and the shoulders are almost as fine, but they're usually a little bit shorter, so they have to be processed a little bit differently. And then the leg wool and the belly wool is more coarse. So the coarse stuff can be used for really good socks, rugs, carpets, and heavy sweaters and ponchos, that kind of thing. The medium wool usually gets blended because it's shorter. It may get blended with the fiber, may get blended with sheep wool or some other, or even silk or cotton. It goes in the blends. And then the fine, pure stuff off the blanket can be made into the finest garment you can possibly imagine. It even is made into something that you would be like chiffon, like a wedding gown fabric.
wow.
Very, very fine, just like merino wool from a sheep. Yeah.
Nice. So, are alpacas kept for anything other than their fiber? Do they make? I've actually heard that llamas and alpacas make good guard animals. So, is there any truth to that?
Well, the llamas do sheerly because of their size. The alpacas can be guard animals because of their curiosity, which is like what the llamas do. And how they do is they really can't hurt much of anything in guarding, but they have this intense curiosity, so that if a canine animal or some kind of predator comes into the pasture or even near it, that llama or alpaca will go forward in front of whatever else is in the herd, like if it's in a sheep herd. And a canine, when it has something coming at it, will just go, whoa, I'm out of here. And they'll, like a coyote or a dog, will leave, usually. If it's a pack of them, then it'll be the guard llama that dies first and guarding the animals. But he can only run. He can do a little bit of kicking, but he doesn't have hooves like a horse that would hurt.
Right.
And he doesn't have enough teeth because they only have teeth on the bottom and not on the top, like most
Oh,
cows
okay.
and deer and all those sorts of animals. So it really has no weapons except to run. But they don't. They're curious and they go out in front.
So out of curiosity, how did you get into this business?
Well, it's a long story, but the short of it is I've been shearing sheep for over 40 years, and about 8 years ago, no, more than that now, more than 10 years ago, the alpaca people kind of stole me and my husband out of the sheep business. They needed people who knew how to handle animals, and we had experience with many species of animals, but we'd both been sheep shearers for a long time, and they needed somebody who knew the fiber and the wool too, and that's how we got going on it. And it's just grown like it has grown in New England. We've come back to New England because that's where I come from. And for instance, in New Hampshire, I don't know the numbers for Massachusetts and Rhode Island, but in New Hampshire, it started in 1992 with the first farm, and now there are well over 100 alpaca farms in just New Hampshire. So that's how it's grown.
All right, so you want to go show us what we do?
We will.
All right.
This is some of the wool that came from one of the alpacas that was just sheared. Josie was saying it's kind of crimped. It's like if you got your hair wet and you braided it and then you undid it. Like this is what it would be like. It's really soft. It'd be great for the sweater. It'll make a great sweater mitten or something. So it's pretty cool. Smiling for the camera.
They really love to do
Does that only have to be done once a year too?
No, it's done a number of times a year. And it's really hard. Some grow faster, some grow slower. You just have to do it when it's done.
So what do you think, Alissa?
I think it's pretty cool. It doesn't look very comfortable for them, but they don't seem to be complaining.
Yeah, they don't seem to be too bad, huh?
I think I want one. I think
Yeah?
I'm gonna get one as a pet. Yeah.
It may not look comfortable, but it is the safest, most secure way for all of us so that people don't get cut and we can do it the quickest. They're only down on the mat for 5 minutes or so. So the least amount of time that they are down and secure is way the least amount of stress. Whereas if you try to do them standing and they're dancing all over the place, it can take hours to get it done.
All right, so I'm Jamie, and we're still here at the alpaca farm. We're about to head out, but I just wanted to ask David, the owner of the farm, a few questions about his livestock. So are alpacas all you have?
I have some guinea hens here that eat parasites. They take care of ticks and slugs and snails and all that stuff, so I don't really have any bugs around here. They take care of most of it for me.
That's nice.
Yeah,
And how long have you had alpacas for?
11 years.
Wow. And how did you start this farm?
I saw an ad in a magazine while I was still working for the government that it would be something that I would try in retirement. And I started out with 6 in 2001, and now there's 68 here. So,
Oh, wow.
buy and sell a few here and there, and I do my own breeding. So, yeah.
So how much of a business is this for you?
It's actually more business. They pay for themselves and then some. Going to farmers markets like you saw me in Pawtucket.
Right.
I do that all fall and spring till about the 1st of April, with the hats and the gloves and the socks and all that stuff. So
Right.
it's pretty good business.
So do you consider these to be like companion animals, pets at all?
Some I like more than others. Let's put it that way.
Do they have names?
Yes, they're all pedigreed. They've all been blood typed and pedigreed. They have a sheet. They're all registered. They all have names. Everybody has a name and a registration, just like a dog. We have
Right.
the alpaca registry the way dogs have the AKC.
Interesting.
registry. Yeah.
So you think you're gonna keep keeping alpacas?
Yeah, I'll keep alpacas. Yeah. Yeah, I will. You know.
All right. Well, it was nice talking to you.
All right, nice talking to you. Thank
right.
you very much.
All right, this has been so cool today, getting to see the alpacas sheared. Thank you so much, Josie, for showing us, the process and everything, telling us a little bit about alpacas.
It's one of my favorite things is to be between the animals and the public. Now that so few people farm, there's fewer than 1% of us in this country who do the farming. And there's so many people that are a generation or two, including kids, removed from the farm. But that's why I love to go to the fairs and I love to talk, because they really need to understand no farms, no food.
Right.
And no fiber and a lot of other things. So it's one of my favorite things to do.
So support your, locally grown agriculture, support locally businesses like this to keep the farms going.
And your state farm bureaus are not just for farmers to be members, it's for everybody to be members. If you want farming to be here, if we want to have food and stuff in this country, we need to support the farmers, help them stay in business, and that's how we get the laws straightened out and so forth, is really through Farm Bureau.
Thank you so much for talking with us,
You're welcome.
and thank you for watching.